I got my racist neighbor banned from the neighborhood pool.
Racists are just dumb people.
I see an old lady making a beeline for Christina and my son, and she starts in with, "I thought I told you you're not welcome here." I put out my phone and started filming and come over as racist granny is yelling at Christina that foreigners are ruining the country. I was like, "Excuse me, what do you think you are doing?"
When people are like that and they do that kind of stuff, it's like, take all the revenge you want.
Welcome back to Delve Deck Stories. Today we have some stories about people getting what they deserve. Our first story is from Megan. And it's "When was the last time you were proud of yourself?" from the original deck. I got my racist neighbor banned from the neighborhood pool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what you get. Mm-hmm. Last summer, we hired a nanny to look after our 6-year-old son for the summer. We live in a quiet suburban neighborhood with a community pool and clubhouse. The nanny, Christina, is from Mexico, but she is a legal U.S. resident and is going to school here. She was doing a great job with keeping our son entertained and taking him to the clubhouse to go swimming. One day, I came home from work and my son ran up to me as soon as I came in and started crying that some old lady was mean to him and Christina at the pool and threatened to call the police on them. I asked Christina about the incident, and she said that while playing with our son in the pool, some old lady came up to them and started demanding to know what they were doing there and telling Christina to go back to her country. They ended up leaving to get away from her. Why? Just mind your own business. I don't understand. Well, like, is that so hard to just, like, not care? This seems like way more energy than to just live your life.
Racists are just dumb people.
I was furious. I asked if they knew who she was, but they said they did not. I called our HOA president and told her about it and asked if she had any idea who this person could be, but she also said she didn't know who it was and that she couldn't do anything about it unless she knew who did it and had proof they were causing a problem. The next day, I took off from work and told Christina to take our son to the pool like normal and that I would come along to see if we could catch this woman. Sting operation. Mm-hmm. We get to the pool and Christina and my son go play. I stay back on a lounge chair, not acting like we are together and scanning the area for any signs of the old lady. We don't see anyone, but it's early and the pool is quiet, so I dip into a book I brought and wait. About an hour later, I see an old lady making a beeline for Christina and my son, and she starts in with, "I thought I told you you're not welcome here." You're like coming to the pool to be annoying. This is taking energy. Also, you're old. You're going to slip and fall, break a hip.
Yeah,
like,
good. I just also want to be like, "I thought I told you you were being a
yeah.
You know?
Like,
I just tell this woman off, but yes, obviously
just
get proof.
stay in your house. Like, why are you being this way? This
like,
is so much work. You're like, I gotta go.
You're like, this person's got brown skin. You
know?
Like,
calm down. I put out my phone and started filming and come over as racist granny is yelling at Christina that foreigners are ruining the country. I was like, "Excuse me, what do you think you are doing?" Racist granny turns her attention to me and says she doesn't even live in this neighborhood. These foreigners are breaking into our neighborhood to use our pool.
And I bet you underneath, it's not even just use the pool. It's like, oh, these foreigners are dirtying up our pool.
Of course.
Guaranteed.
That's like what it comes down to. That's why we had segregated pools and, before, like.
Because again, racists are dumb and they don't believe in science.
Mm-hmm. I told her I do live here and that is my son and our nanny and they are absolutely allowed to be here and that she better leave them alone. She told me to stop hiring illegals and hire real Americans instead. I let her go off on camera, making an absolute fool of herself. I was like, "How do I know you belong here? Maybe you're the one that broke in. I bet you don't even live in this neighborhood. You don't look like you could afford a house around here. Maybe I should call the police on you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You look poor." I was deliberately trying to goad this woman into revealing more about herself, and of course, the idiot took the bait and told me where she lives to argue she does live here. I told her I would be verifying this with the HOA, and we left. Once we got home, I contacted the HOA president and sent her my video of racist Granny's tirade. The HOA president agreed to ban Granny from the pool and community center, and I told the HOA president if there were any more incidents with Granny, we'd be taking legal action. We did not see racist Granny at the pool the rest of the summer, thank goodness. I hope she had a very hot, unpleasant summer with no pool privileges.
And then she died.
Yeah, maybe. We can only hope. And
You'll slip and fall. The amount of just effort you are taking to hate on someone that was not even in your direction, was not even talking to you, didn't even know you existed before you decided to bother them and harass them and threaten them. But again, it's just like they take so much effort to like seek these people out. They're like, they're taking our stuff. They're doing this to me. It's like they were minding their own business and living their own life and contributing to society and the economy and everything around it. And then you're like, they're not the problem. You're the problem. You are the cause of your own misery because you're a hateful bigot.
yeah, just like chill out.
Yeah. Like life would be so much better if you just stayed in your lane.
If you just calm the down.
Yeah. And also, experiences in life would be so much better if you ever traveled, met new people, tried new food, new cultures. All of those things would be so much more fulfilling and so much more entertaining. And it's all like it all comes down to be a good person, follow those Christian values you preach about, and just mind your own business.
Yeah. All right. Our next story is from Cara, and it's what's the pettiest thing you've ever done from the Deep Dive Beach Ball? I was outed by my nosy neighbor and got revenge. More neighbors who just need to mind their own business.
Yeah.
I grew up in a town in Indiana where everyone is extremely white, Christian, and conservative. My parents are very homophobic, and when I realized I was developing crushes on other girls instead of boys, I prayed every night to make it stop. I dated a few boys here and there, hoping I could convince myself I liked them, but nothing worked. Then, in high school, I became friends with Leah. We had so much in common and were inseparable. We both talked about how we didn't like boys, but of course had to date them since we wanted to get married and have kids someday. Then Leah started dating James. I was so jealous of him. I now know it's because I had a crush on Leah, but I told myself it was because he was stealing my best friend from me. I grew resentful, and Leah and I started fighting with each other more and more. This accumulated in a huge blow-up at her house one night. I started screaming that she didn't care about me anymore and that she only cared about James. She was crying that she didn't even like James that much, but her parents liked him. It was so dramatic, and then she suddenly kissed me. We sat there in shock, then I kissed her back. It was better than any kiss I had ever had with a boy, and she agreed. She broke up with James that night, and we began secretly dating. Cue my nosy neighbor Patricia. We had parked my car near a local park and were making out when we heard a knock on the window. Patricia was out walking her dog and had caught us. We broke apart and Patricia and I stared at each other, not saying a word. When she finally shook her head and left, I started crying. I knew she was going to tell my parents, and I knew I was going to be forced to break up with Leah. I didn't want to go home because I didn't want to face them. Maybe they'd be asleep when I got back, and I could sneak into my room and then avoid them for the rest of my life. But sure enough, when I finally walked through the door, both of my parents were sitting on the couch waiting for me. Patricia had told them that she caught me with Leah and that I was a lesbian. This is again like, why is this any of your business?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Is this because you secretly have desires for other women and you want to be that, but you feel like you can't comfortably live in that life? Because
Patricia, just calm down.
Boring, hateful community you're a part of?
Yeah.
Is that why? Are you
Just
a
like,
self-hating person?
Nothing bad was happening.
I mean, these people,
teenagers.
These people are very much like, well, if I can't enjoy it, then nobody can.
Yeah.
And
it's like people are just unhappy, and it's like, if you just chilled out,
yeah,
you'd be a lot happier, and you wouldn't be so full of hate.
Maybe if you went to a therapist and realized that you are the problem,
yeah,
and you did work to make it better, that you could actually live a life where you don't have to go nosy into other people's shit.
Yeah. A huge fight ensued, and I was grounded and told that I could no longer be friends with Leah. My parents said she was a bad influence and said if I couldn't get my act together, I would be sent to a summer camp for teens who are infected with this condition. I was devastated. I called Leah and cried to her all night. I wasn't going to quit seeing her. We would just have to be more careful. Also, I wanted revenge on Patricia. I hated her more than ever.
Set her house on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously when she's not there.
Yeah.
Still.
Since I was grounded, I was spending more time at home, which meant I had more time to watch Patricia and learn more about her. We're in like Rear Window.
Mm-hmm. You're like, I'm going to find out everything I need to know about you when you leave, when you go shopping, when you whatever in your house, and then I'm going to strike.
Mm-hmm. I frequently saw her and her husband arguing and thought there might be something there. Her husband was very active in the church, so his email address was easy to find. I made a new Hotmail account and sent him an anonymous message pretending to be a man from the town over who had been sleeping with his wife. I said that I had no idea he existed, but found out because they had been featured in the local paper for their charity work at the church. I felt so guilty and had to come clean. He responded the next day asking for proof. Luckily, I was prepared. I told him all sorts of information I had learned from spying on her. Her favorite brand of wine, the color her nails were painted last week, and even described a pair of her underwear that I had caught a glimpse of through the window once. He never responded to the email, but that night I watched through my window and saw him confront her. They got into a fight and he left the house to, I assume, stay at a hotel. I know it's f***ed up, but I watched her cry in the living room, feeling so much satisfaction knowing that I had caused her as much pain as she had caused me. They ended up staying together, Christianity and all that, and I no longer speak to anyone from that town, including my parents. Maybe it was wrong, but I don't feel bad at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you didn't even like ruin their marriage. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
I don't know, man. When people are like that and they do that kind of stuff, it's like, take all the revenge you want.
Yeah.
Go after it. Especially because, like, in this instance, it's the first relationship where she's coming out. And now she's getting shamed by this bitch next door, Patricia. And instead of just minding her own business and doing what, is within the confines of her house, she decides to go ruin someone else's life. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Take it back on her and be like, I don't know what the relationship stands between her husband and her anymore, but, like, I would totally get revenge and be like, you made me feel like and I was just a kid.
Yeah. People, again, mind your own business. This won't happen to you. Our next story is from Freya, and it's, what's the pettiest thing you've ever done from the Deep Dive Beach Ball? I hired a bully to deal with my middle school bullies. My family moved this summer before I started middle school, so I knew absolutely no one. I've always been shy and introverted, so I quickly became that weird girl who doesn't speak. Most kids just talked behind my back, but gym class was hell. There were 3 girls in my class who would make fun of me all the time in the locker room for being flat-chested, not having a period yet, and being generally terrible at sports. If I ended up on one of their teams in class, they would groan loudly, and they turned everyone else against me too. This was around the time that AIM was also really popular. I made an account to talk to my friends from my old school, but then my username was spread around and they started bullying me on there too. My guess is this guy William, who I had a huge crush on, gave it to them. He seemed aware that I had a crush and asked me for my username. I was thrilled because I thought he might ask me out. Instead, I got teased relentlessly and told that I was too ugly for William and that I needed to back off because apparently one of those girls was dating him already. Then my aunt, uncle, and older cousin Laura came to visit over winter break. We were playing on the computer when one of the girls messaged me on AIM. I quickly clicked out of it, but Laura was like, "Who was that?" I started to explain the situation and she was furious for me. "You need to fight back, Freya," she kept saying. Then I watched her make a new account. I was like, "What are you doing? You're going to tell me everything you know about them, and then I'm going to make them regret ever being mean to my cousin," she replied.
Hell yeah.
Laura had always been cool and popular, so apparently she had firsthand experience being a mean girl. Yeah, you gotta have a mean girl to battle mean girls. Mean girls battle it out.
You know, you got to have the people who are petty in your life, who are willing to go the extra mile to really make sure that you're covered.
Yeah.
Because you might be like, oh, I'd love to do this. And then they're like, all right, do it. And you're like, I don't know if I'll do it.
She's like, I don't know these people.
Like, let me take over.
Yeah.
You know? I'll be that asshole with customer service. You know, that type of, I will make sure that it gets done so that you never have to deal with it again.
Yeah. We spent the rest of the week making different accounts and pretending to be other people to terrorize my bullies. We pretended to be a cute guy who had a crush on one of them and asked for pictures, then responded no thanks and blocked them. We would also pretend to be other anonymous people at the school and make fun of them. Then, before she left, I asked Laura if she would keep helping me. She seemed to think this was a great opportunity for her to make some extra cash, and said that if I gave her $50, she would continue to bully them for me for the rest of the semester. She's like, listen, I'm not going to do it for free.
Yeah. I mean, $50 sounds like a great deal.
Mm-hmm. Just email me whenever they are mean to you and I'll be on it, she said. I had some money I got for my birthday, and this seemed like the perfect thing to spend it on. The bullying didn't actually stop, but every time those girls called me ugly or screamed at me for not catching a softball, I felt at peace knowing they would be crying later that night. I feel kind of bad about it now, but also maybe they should have been nicer. Maybe. I think, again, these are children, so I feel a little bit more forgiving to them. A little. Yeah. But
I mean, they're terrorists, but...
like, just mind your own business.
Yeah.
And you won't have to have your comeuppance.
Right.
Our final story is from Kathy, and it's, what's the pettiest thing you've ever done, from the Deep Dive Beach Ball? I got even with my nosy daughter. Okay.
She probably had it coming.
Yeah, I'm like, how old is she? We'll find out. Let me preface this by saying I love my daughter and we are close, but as I've been getting older, I feel like she doesn't respect my privacy and sometimes treats me like a child. I just turned 70 last month and I am in good health, but she acts like I am 200. Last year, I went on a cruise with some friends, and my daughter looked after my cat for me. When I got back, she was pestering me about why I had so many sweets in my house and lecturing me about the dangers of eating too much sugar. I feel like every time she is in my house, she is snooping around and finding fault with something. I know that this would be super frustrating, but I also feel like as parents age, you're kind of like, you two good?
Yeah.
You guys good over there? Or like what is happening?
It definitely, you reverse course where it's like, as a baby, your parents take care of you, and then as they get older and kind of like lose like certain things, there's a crossover, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I got to take care of you now.
70 is still very young.
Yeah.
And I would also be, I know in this position, be super frustrated.
Yeah.
But I also do understand as you get older, seeing your parents and just being like,
this? I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating even when you're younger and your parents are, obviously younger as well. But like as you get older, the frustration, your patience, I think wears very thin.
Yeah.
And you're like, we've had this conversation, and then you're like, holy, this is the same thing that my parents would say to me when I was a kid.
Last month, when she came for dinner, she noticed I kept a razor in the shower to shave my legs, and she started telling me about how I can't keep a razor in the shower because the water could cause it to get rusty. She acts like we've switched roles, and she is the parent now. I don't know. Okay, calm down. That's that's beyond like health. That's like she knows.
Yeah. I mean, but also I feel like you have to have a razor in a shower for a very long period of time these days. Those razors are like pretty rust resistant for the most part.
Yeah,
but also
like she can replace the razor.
Well, I was gonna say rusty. Like you only use razors like a handful of times probably before you replace the thing because the blades already get dull. So it's like
she's probably she knows.
I'm buying my blades from the street corner.
Yeah. I have told her I would like her to mind her business and not patronize me, but she still snoops and makes comments. Well, I'd had enough of this behavior and decided to teach her a lesson. I went online and spent a few $100s on the nastiest sex products I could find. I stocked up on etc. That's more than a couple hundred.
Yeah, that's
expensive.
That's also a lot of stuff.
I mean, maybe she, you can put it to use.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know what you're up to. I mean, you might as well. You can't return a sex toy.
Maybe.
Then I stashed my purchases all over my house. I put them in closets, medicine cabinets, under my bed, every possible place I could think of that my daughter might go snooping, and invited her over for dinner. Especially because she's worried about sugar. I like the idea of her opening up like the pantry and there's just like a dildo.
Yeah,
just like a giant dildo sitting there. Yeah.
Just like
it's like vibrating already.
Yeah.
Like
she's got a random dildo.
She's like, did I leave my strap in the pantry?
Just leave it in or put it in the dishwasher, you like wash it through there. But I also like the idea of her going through and having this almost like Easter egg hunt of being like, oh my God. And she starts collecting them along the way.
In the fridge.
She's like, there's a couple still out there.
Yeah. Come on. My daughter came over, and while I was cutting veggies for the salad, she excused herself to the bathroom. And I chuckled to myself, waiting for her to find my lewd surprises. My daughter was gone for like 20 minutes, and when she came back, she looked shaken. I could barely contain myself, but I kept a straight face and acted casually. My daughter asked, "Are you seeing anyone, Mom?" I love it. I mean, I guess she snooped all over her house, so she's like, "This is new."
Yeah.
But I feel like
yeah, you really
maybe
dumped.
she's not
you really
seeing
jumped
anyone,
in.
and
Yeah.
she's just like having a good time on her own.
I was just thinking, I was like, goes to the bathroom and she finds the most random places to hide them. Like she puts it in like the toilet bowl.
Yeah. I hope they're all over. I asked, "What do you mean? Like a man?" She responded. I said, "Oh, I like to get out and have a nice time, but there isn't anyone special." "So no boyfriend?" she asked. I just gave an innocent smile and told her I like to keep things casual. She then launches into a lecture about STI rates for seniors and tells me how important condom use is. Your mom's in her 70s. She knows about condoms. Also, though, seniors do be getting STIs a lot.
I mean, typically in like a senior living
homes,
facility kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they be
Yeah. What else are you going to do? Exactly.
Oh!
Have a good time, whatever. I asked her why she was bringing this up, and she said she worries about me. I told her there is no need to worry. I could see she is getting flustered, and finally said, "Why do you have so many sex things around here if you're not in a relationship then? Your daughter stupid?
Yeah.
Your daughter doesn't know
how to
how to hit it
yourself?
And quit it?" All right. She just said, keeping it casual. You don't need a boyfriend to use a butt plug.
Am I right? It's like, this is the 21st century. The control we have with sex toys
use it on yourself.
Crazy.
You could use it on a casual thing.
Yeah. You could just turn it on to turn it on, I
said, "Why do you know about my sex products? I thought you said you were going to stop snooping." She started to protest about how she wasn't snooping and found them by accident, and now she's going to be picturing me doing disgusting things. I just laughed and told her this is why it would be best if she minds her own business. The rest of the dinner was pretty quiet, and I could tell I had really gotten under her skin.
I think one additional step I would have taken would be find the weirdest, kinkiest type of porn imaginable.
Yeah.
And like because I'm sure they sell like magazines, DVDs, magazines, whatever. Yeah. And then put that around to be like help also frame this, be like,
so
what is
she knows
into?
what you're doing with them.
So when she imagines in this instance of like, oh, my mother is like pleasuring herself or hooking up with whoever, it'd be like, no. She's doing it like in this type of act.
Yeah, some sort of like rope tying, like bondage kind of how-to book.
Or even the ones where it's like, oh, like, how like, oh, a sexy librarian, right? But it'd be like, oh, I really have this fantasy of having sex with a cashier at a fast food restaurant. Like very specific things like
very
that.
Specific fantasy.
Yeah. I don't have that.
I don't
have that one. But what I'm saying is, she should do those.
McDonald's hates to see Gabe coming.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yes, no, I think that would be good.
I just feel like if you're gonna really like prank your mom, you might as well like really fill of like a very vivid imagination or like picture for her about like what is she doing.
Yeah. As we said our goodbyes, I told her she'd probably be happier and worry less if she quit spying on me, and that I am perfectly capable of taking care of myself. Then I had a good laugh after she left, imagining my daughter now thinks I am the wildest sex maniac she has ever met. When she came back to my house a week later to do some gardening together, I noticed I did not get a single word from her about what I might be doing when she isn't around. Hopefully she has learned her lesson and will let dear old mom live her life in peace.
Just like use the sex toys out there too, you know?
She's planting them.
I mean, look, just think of this. You got the butt plug. Perfect, like...
yeah. She's like, this is how it gets bigger.
Yeah. You poke a hole and you're like, drop the seeds, cover it up. Poke the hole, drop the seeds, cover it up.
Oh,
right?
You're finding so many uses for these butt plugs.
I'm also thinking like maybe a vibrator. You can like help sift through the dirt, you know? I feel like there's so many applications that you can have.
Then she's going to be like, Mom, you have to clean that properly afterwards or you're going to get an infection. That's a good prank. I was worried about the getting even off top, but I love this. Good for you.
Yeah.
That is it for Delve Deck Stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, you can like, subscribe, and check out some of our other videos. And if you have a story that you would like to share with us, you can go to share.delvedeck.com and we might read it on an episode.